Well, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Isaac Hayes Show, talking about life, talking about liberty, and yes, talking about the pursuit of happiness and showing you and everyone in the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. We're not James Carville, the guy that runs around CNN, MSNBC, wearing the LSU cap and saying, I'm Cajun and I know what I'm talking about, and he sounds like a fool. We're all not like that. We're all not like that. We have some intelligent people here in Louisiana. Some like my good friends that I met yesterday on a job. I got to a job and I delivered some sand, and we were just talking about the product, and I was trying to show them how to use the product. And when we started talking, they asked me something, and I said I do a political podcast, and they're like, "Oh, you're not a left leaning." I was like, no. I'm still considered the Cajun conservative, and their eyes got that big, and they would just ask me all kind of questions. So we do have some Cajuns that are smart down here, not James Carville smart. Because like I said, I've said that before. Probably if I meet up with James Carville, we talk anything but politics. We probably would get along, but I don't want to be associated with James Carville. No. I don't want to be. I don't even go near James Carville. If you agree with me, please put it into the chat and let me know what you think, because I don't want to be. I wouldn't want to be around James Carville. I don't think some Democrats want to be around James Carville. They just put him up there because he fits the agenda. You know, and that's the thing about, you know, CNN and look, some conservative media does it too. They do it too. Don't get me wrong. You know, where they put people up there, they know it's going to fit their agenda. They know it's going to fit their ideas. But look, even some on the right, there's some people that you don't want to hang around with on the right either. I'm just making those points. You know, there's a few bad apples on each group. I better be careful how I say that, because some left leaning media or somebody that wants to stop this show might say, oh, he's saying there's good people on both sides. And you know how that got Donald Trump in trouble? Just saying. But I hope you're doing good on a Friday. I hope you have plans for the weekend. I got so much plans for the weekends. We got a worship night. We have a birthday party. We have church on Sunday. We have all kind of stuff going on this weekend, but that's okay. God is faithful. God is loving, and God is going to get me through. And it's starting off with this episode this morning, or if you're on the East Coast in the afternoon, you know. And if you have come over from the Dr. Michael Schwartz show, I welcome you to the show. All right, let's jump into it, because we have a lot of news going on. There wasn't really that much major news. I didn't hear nothing from Israel in the last couple of days. So, but you know, we know Israel's doing their job. But there was some news. Correction, there was some news. I forgot about that. Israel took out the guy that was supposed to take over Hezbollah. They took him out. That's something, look, I've been saying that for the last couple of episodes. That's something that Israel does good, is take out terrorists. What we should have done when we wanted to take out Saddam Hussein and bin Laden, we should have just hired Israel. We should have told Israel, hey, y'all good at it. We can't find them. Y'all take a crack at it. I bet they would have got rid of Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden a lot quicker than we did. It took us years to get these guys. Israel had Sinwar and the other leader within a matter of months. So I'm just saying, you know. But you know, politicians in America, hey, talk to Israel. Let Israel know how to take out those nasty terrorists that want to kill everybody in the name of their religion. All right. I'm not talking about that. Anyway, so we are under 2 weeks. We are getting very close. Louisiana, I think this the 29th is the last day that you can early vote. A lot of places have already stopped early voting, so it's going up to Election Day. If you did not early vote, you need to go out on Election Day. And look, I understand what Dan Bongino, Charlie Kirk, and all these other people they're saying, hey, look, you need to go out there and vote. Don't risk something happening on Election Day. Go count your vote. And we're seeing the numbers. Record number in Georgia, record number in Pennsylvania, record numbers in all these states. Even they're saying there's a crack in the blue wall. That Kamala Harris and her team are worried that that crack could lose lose at least one of those states, and it could turn dangerous for her to win the election. If she lose one blue wall state, it's done. She has to win at least 4 of the 7 states that are talked about, and it's not looking good in Arizona. It's not looking good in Georgia. It's not looking good in Pennsylvania. It's not looking good in North Carolina for her. So what Kamala Harris has to do, she has to turn to tactics now that don't make her look good, by the way. I'm just saying. And Kamala Harris did a couple of things this week. I guess you could say big interviews. She had a big interview with NBC on Tuesday night. She had like a press conference that everybody followed, where she made a special announcement, and then she had a town hall with CNN. Now I have a lot of notes on these interviews and this press conference, where she did not get no questions. We see when she answers a question from the press, she can't answer it because she was in Philadelphia Thursday night. I don't have the clip, but they asked her a question. And she botched it. She didn't know how to answer it. I believe it was the answer. It was a question on the border, and they just re-asked the question that CNN said. But so I want to dive into and talk about a few things. We're going to start off with the NBC interview because that was Tuesday night. That was before the CNN town hall. But the NBC interview was Holly Jackson was the interviewer, and she was interviewing Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris made some statements that really caught my attention. One being on abortion. Now, we can all agree that the Democrat Party has a different stance on abortion than us conservatives, and some believe you can do it up to the 9th month. A lot of Democrats are trying to shy away from that because they're saying, hey, we need to push reproductive rights. But when you start asking these Democrats, like Ted Cruz did to Alford, I think his name is, when he starts saying, hey, how far are you going to push it? 7, 8, 9 months? Trump did this with Kamala Harris, and I thought this was a strong point. When he said, look, when do we put a stop on? Because, see, they always say that, look, we want to go ahead and put back the protections of Roe v. Wade. The problem with it is Roe v. Wade didn't have no number. They didn't have a certain date to stop an abortion. And this is what the Democrats are pushing. And they think this is a winning issue. And in some states it is. Now, NBC News, Jackson asked Kamala Harris if she would consider granting religious exemptions for abortion, and Harris quickly shot it down. This is from Todd Stern's website. This is the quote from Kamala Harris. Now, look, this is why the question came up. She said, look, will you go across the line? Because there is some Republicans, if you put, hey, there's an exemption for religious hospitals and religious organizations that don't want to give abortions, will you give them an exemption? And listen to Kamala Harris's response. I don't think we should be making concessions when we're talking about a fundamental freedom to making decisions about your own body. Christian doctors and nurses, along with hospitals run by religious denominations, will be forced under penalty of law to take part in killing unborn babies if Harris is elected. That is Todd Stern's quote. Todd Stern added that point in, and he is right. When she made the statement, I don't think we should be making concessions when we are talking about a fundamental freedom to make decisions to your own body. She said that she will not give an exemption to Christians' hospitals. Now, this is a whole thing, too. She brings out fundamental rights. What about the fundamental rights of a Christian organization that does not believe that and say we cannot do that? Oh, well, you're going against the Constitution. It is a constitutional right for them to abort the baby. No, it's not a constitutional right for them to abort a baby. It's not in the Constitution. It goes back up to the states. But okay, if a state wants to allow abortion, they should give exemptions to religious organizations when a woman comes in and says, look, I want to abort my baby, and they say, no, it goes against our right as a Christian and a Christian denomination. See, it's funny how everybody's quick to say freedom of religion, but what about a Christian's rights? What about a Christian's choice? What about a Christian's organization's rights and choice? We just had this whole thing with a baker in Colorado that did not want to make a cake for same-sex couples or transgender couples or transgender people transitioning. He had a fundamental right to decline their business. So you're going to force a Christian company or a Christian organization to perform abortions. That is wrong. Like, look, California's in a lawsuit right now with that. A Christian organization is suing California because California is telling them you have to do it because abortions is law. And look, I'm still baffled how people can vote for a Democrat Party that love abortions. Now, Kamala Harris said some other things on this, but this is a hot topic for me because I'm passionate about this. I still don't understand you Christians out there. I'm going to push this home. How you can vote for the Democrat Party who is endorsing murdering the unborn life. And now she's saying, hey, she don't care if you're a religious organization. You're not going to get an exemption. We're going to force you to commit abortions. But we already know she don't care about Christianity because what she did at the rally the other day, when somebody screamed, Jesus is King, Christ is Lord, and she looks at them dead in the face and say, you're at the wrong rally. You need to go to the smaller one down the road. She told people she will not accept Christianity at that moment. I don't care how many churches she steps in. When it's been proven that the pastor is a fake pastor and he's not anointed by the Holy Ghost because he is endorsing things that are not biblical. So you Christians out there, you'll need to not vote for her. You'll need to vote for the person that's pushing biblical principles. Well, Donald Trump is not pushing biblical principles. No, Donald Trump is not a biblical person. He is not saved. I've said that on this podcast I don't know how many times, but his platform is pushing what is closer to biblical principles. I'd rather take a little than take none. All right, let's move on to a lot of other things she's saying because this interview was disturbing in a lot of ways. I got some other stories. I think they're just going to tie into both these interviews because these interviews surrounded a lot of other news that happened this week. Harris on this is according to Fox News. Harris claims she was honest with the American people about Biden's mental accuracy. Capability in every way. So this question has been coming up to her since the Brett Baer interview, at least. She has been pushed by this. Did you know that Biden's mental capability was down? I'm going to read the question. This is what Jackson asked her. Do you say that you were honest with the American people about what you saw in those moments when President Biden, as you were with him again and again, repeatedly in that time? So again, this is going back to when Biden stepped out of the race. He had a horrible debate performance where he was not cognate, he was not mentally fit. And again, she didn't do her job because she should have invoked the 25th Amendment right after that debate. But she didn't do it. She they made a deal with old Joe. Hey, we'll let you finish out your term and you let Kamala Harris run. And we're going to let you go as you passing the torch when we really kicked you out. And look, Biden is still mad at that. There's reports that he's still mad. But now this is a question that people are asking now. Wait, if he was not mentally fit to serve for president, how much did Kamala Harris know? Now, Kamala Harris says, I was always there. I'm in the situation room. I'm making decisions with him. So the question is asked a lot at town halls and stuff. And listen to her response. Of course, Harris responded. Joe Biden is extremely accomplished, experienced, and competent in every way that anyone would if they were president. Y'all see me, if you're watching on Rumble, YouTube, or even Facebook. Well, now Locals too, by the way. I forgot to mention that. We're on Locals now. You're seeing my face. I can't believe her answer. Now, to Jackson's credit, now this is all these things are friendly, by the way. This is friendly interview she's on. Jackson followed, you never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him? Kind of baffled. You've been with it. This is the whole thing. She says, I was with him all the time. I was with him all the time. And I'm in there with the situation room. I see how good he is. Well, you're telling me you're with him all the time and you did not notice? Now, listen to Harris's reply. It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. It was not a bad debate. It was a horrible debate, and it showed that Biden was not capable. That single debate, I wish Donald Trump would have never, ever done that debate now. Because it showed people that he was weak. It showed people he was not mentally capable of being president of the United States for another 4 years. And the Democrats went into action. Now, to be honest with you, I'm at a point where I'm believing that was planned by the Democrat Party. Let's do it early. Let's see if he can survive. And if he does not survive, we can kick him out before the convention. See, after the convention, they couldn't have done nothing. They could have kicked him out, but he would have still been on the ballot. And they wouldn't have had a candidate in the race. And that would have been beneficial for us because, hey, now would it have went behind Robert Kennedy? I doubt it. Because Robert Kennedy didn't fit the agenda either. Kennedy is a liberal. I'm going to say that too. I'm blue in the face. Kennedy is a liberal. But Kennedy was not extreme liberal. He could work with people like Donald Trump. He could work with people like Tulsi Gabbard. He could work with people on the right. He had some of their same views. And they didn't want that. But it was a bad debate. It wasn't a bad debate. It showed his true colors. And Jackson, again, push. I'm happy for Jackson. Someone in left-wing media pushed her. But that's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket. Harris respond, well, we'll have to ask him that if that's the only reason why. What do you think, Jackson asked? I'm running for president of the United States. Joe Biden is not. See, she stopped right there. See, that's her caveat out of that. Listen, you're asking Joe Biden this, but he's not running for president. I'm running for president. Well, you're going to push the same agenda. And my presidency will be about bringing new generations of leadership to America that is focused on work that we need to do to invest in the abundance and aspiration of the American people. The NBC News anchor clarified to the vice president that it's a judgment question. That's why I asked, can the American people trust you in these moments, even when it's maybe uncomfortable to the level with Americans in that way? So that's why I asked, Jackson said. And it sounds like what you're saying is you feel you never saw anything like that from President Joe Biden. Now, Harris went ahead and replied once again, I have worked with Joe Biden, whether hours and hours and hours over these 4 years, whether it's in the Situation Room or the Oval Office. I spoke with him not only sincerely, but with a real firsthand account of watching him do this work. I have never relentless in saying that. No, of course, I don't, Harris said. So Harris is trying to say, hey, he's all right. He's fit to be president, but it's time for me to bring new leadership. And to be honest with you, this question right here is one of the ones I think is putting a nail in her coffin. That's how I see that. All right. Again, she went ahead and said she was asked about what if Donald Trump doesn't concede the election. She said her team's ready to go if Trump won't concede the election. Trump don't have to concede the election. Trump does not have to concede the election. I'm just letting you know. And that was a video. I didn't know that was a video. But Donald Trump don't have to concede the election. Donald Trump Donald Trump never conceded the 2020 election. Is he president of the United States because he didn't concede? No. A candidate does not have to concede the election. All the candidate has to do is say, look, I don't think I lost, and you can take over. Joe Biden's still in the White House. Joe Biden's in the White House. But her team is ready. And it goes on the lines of, if Donald Trump tries to pull something like January 6th, my team will be ready. Well, you got to ask the question, too, what if you lose? Will you peacefully say it's yours, Donald Trump? Remember, I'm going to be honest with you. Think about this. She is the Senate president because she is the vice president. That's part of her duties as the vice president. Will she Will she, clear the electoral college votes? I'm just that's just some questions you need to ask people. She was even asked about trans rights in this interview. This is from the Daily Wire, of the transcript that I have. It was asked, do you believe that transgender Americans should have access to gender-affirming care in this country? Harris responded, I think we should follow the law. I mean, I think you're probably pointing to the fact that Donald Trump's campaign has spent tens of millions of dollars. Jackson responds, they're trying to define you on this. I'm asking you to define yourself, though, which is a good point. Hey, Donald Trump says you believe this way. What do you believe? Tell us what you believe. Just broadly speaking, what is your values? Do you believe they should have that access? Now, this is an issue in Texas, by the way. I'm just saying the Senate race, Ted Cruz is doing a real good job, and the Republicans are really doing a real good job exposing Alford on that, where he says, I'm not for it, but he voted time and time again to give them rights to transgender boys to female bathrooms. And Harris is trying to step back with that. Now, she has pushed that too as a senator and as the vice president of the United States, but now she's trying to push back because this is a losing issue. People in America don't believe little boys that think they're girls should be in girls' bathrooms or play girl sports. This is something that every person that has a half ounce of brain thinks, hey, that's not right. Now, Harris was pushing that. Now it's a losing issue. She's pushing back on it. Harris says she believes that the doctor should make decisions in terms which is medically necessary. I'm not going to put myself in the position of a doctor. The thing of it is, ladies and gentlemen, a doctor, if he's a true doctor and believes in science, would say, hey, there's only two genders, male and female. There's not 455, there's two. That is simple biology. But Kamala Harris, it's up to the doctor. If the doctor thinks that, which there is a study on this point of transgenderism. There was a study by a group. Their study proved them wrong that kids are happy after transitioning, they were already happy before. It made them look bad, and guess what? It's showing people, hey, why you're hiding this story? I wish I put it in there. I would have brought it up, but I don't have it at the moment. The Daily Wire. All three hosts, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, and Matt Walsh did a good job. They brought it out, and also several other people brought it out. But Harris continues, when she can't answer some, what else is to do? Well, to attack Donald Trump. But let us also understand that Donald Trump is running tens of millions of dollars in ads. She continued, a reference to Trump's ad that highlight Harris' support for using taxpayer money to provide inmates sex changes surgery. She continued by talking about taxes, small businesses, and how Trump is allegedly making people distraught. But Jackson pushed back, noting that she got no answer from Harris, and she didn't. And this is the question that was asked of Jackson. It sounds like what you're saying is there should be something between trans Americans and their doctors, Jackson said. It feels like there's a long way from we see you, we love you, which is your message to trans Americans in May. What do you want the LGBTQ plus community to know as they're looking for a full throttle backing from you for trans America? Harris' response, all people should be treated with dignity, respect, period, and should not be verified by who they are and should not be bullied for who they are. So she confirmed it right there. Now, look, I agree with her on that. I do agree with Harris. Look, Scott Ford and all you people that are watching, don't fall out your chair. I do agree. Look, people should be treated with respect. Okay, if you decide to go ahead and be part of the LGBTQ community, because I believe that is a choice. You can be part of that or not. You should be. Look, if I see you on the side of the street, I'm not gonna try to disrespect you. All right. Look, I'm gonna use for example. I went to the Mall of Louisiana the other day, and my wife went into a store, and it was for the bat bombs. I don't know where my wife goes and get her stuff. I don't use bat bombs. Hey, give me just straight body wash. I'm good. But I went there and look, there was a trans person there, and I didn't want to offend them, and I was like, saying thank you, and they asked me a question, and it was a man trying to transition to a woman, and I said, yes. Oh, I stopped. I didn't want to offend them. Now, some people are like, well, what about your conservative values? No, I don't believe a man should turn into a woman or a woman should turn into a man. But I don't purposely go out there and try to offend people. I try to respect people. But at the same time, we have to call out what it is. Look, if you want to transition to another gender, you should pay that out of your pocket. The government should not say, oh, well, you want to do it? Well, we're gonna flip the bill. That's not how that works. Taxpayer dollars should not be going to transgender surgeries. That is up to the person to do that, and then to find a doctor that's willing to do that. You don't go ahead and say, well, people should pay for this. All right, let's move on. So we're going to move on to Wednesday, where Harris had a press conference where she accused Donald Trump. Now, this is from Fox News. Harris accused Donald Trump to Hitler and says that he wants military loyalty as German dictator. This is all based on John Kelly, because John Kelly in the Atlantic told the Atlantic that Donald Trump told him he wanted German he wanted them to be like German generals and to have loyalty like they had to Hitler. Now, granted, this is unverified, by the way. They've been saying this for the last couple of days, that John Kelly has said this, and this confirms that Donald Trump wants to be like Hitler. Ladies, and look, this isn't the first time I was shocked to know this. Donald Trump isn't the only one they call Hitler. There's several Republicans they have compared to Hitler and fascists. It was the town hall meeting later that night when Anderson Cooper asked her point blank, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist? And she said, yes, I think he is. And in this press conference where Glenn Beck did a real good job at explaining what was going on, they have the flag on her, if you're looking at her, flag on the left, the vice president flag on the right, and there's like a White House, like his official statement. She wasn't at the White House. She was at the vice president residency. But she criticized Donald Trump and saying that Donald Trump is out to for unchecked power. He wants a military like Adolf Hitler had. He will be loyal to him, not our Constitution. Harris tweeted Wednesday, he is unhinged, unstable, and given a second term, there will be no one to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses. In a brief remark Wednesday at the official vice presidential residence in Washington, Harris accepted the claim of the former president's White House chief of staff, John Kelly, who said Trump wanted Hitler generals. Harris said her GOP opponent is unhinged and seeks unchecked powers. Again, we see at the CNN town hall on Wednesday night, which there was a lot said, and I have a lot to note to talk about it. But she said, and this is from Breitbart, Kamala Harris' closing arguments ignore issues that force America. She called Donald Trump a fascist. Instead of talking about the issue, she just goes after attacking Donald Trump. When all else fails to the Democrat Party, you need to attack Donald Trump. That's the motto of the Democrat Party. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue with her comparing Donald Trump to Hitler and calling him a fascist. This man has already faced two bullets from an assassin's gun. And thank God he has survived. The tension is so high right now that a man is suing the federal government that was a Trump supporter that went to a rally, and they assumed he was an assassin and they arrest him. He was on 2 Mics Live. This man, they don't know if somebody's going to go after him. But when you hear the left say that they need to turn down the rhetoric,